Let's get started. So hi everyone, morning. My name's Stu. I'm one of the senior product managers here at FreeAgent. With me on flight deck today is Katie, who's in our support team. What we'd like to do for the next 15, 20 minutes or so is talk about two things. Firstly, why cash flow forecasting is really important for small businesses. And secondly, how to use FreeAgent's cash flow functionality. And we'll go through a live account and demo on that. So I'm hoping that you all have sound and vision. However, on the off chance, has anyone got any problems, please feel free to use the Q&A function, and Katie will pick up that there. If you do have any questions that might arise on anything we talk about during this webinar, please feel free to use that Q&A session, and we'll try and get back to you during the time slot. If we run out of time, then our support team can get back to you after the webinar. I'm going to talk about how we can contact our support team as well. So if there's anything you wish to talk about or discuss that was covered that you don't have time for today, then we do have a fabulous support team, and they'll be able to aid you on that. They can't provide any accounting advice, but they can help you with FreeAgent related queries. So firstly, if you're not familiar with FreeAgent, it's a cloud-based accounting software package. We aimed at demystifying accounting for small businesses and to sort out that mess and stress of managing business finances. But firstly, let's talk about cash flow. That's why we're here today. So why is cash flow so important? The headline really is around 80% of small businesses that do go out of business indicate that cash flow failures are the main reason for this. And so whatever you want to do with your business, you will need cash to make that a reality. No small business wants to find themselves in a position of having impactful and large and lofty dreams, but then running out of money, which is why cash flow is so important to both sustaining business, but also growing business. And it might be scary, but it's not scary if you're managing your cash flow. So what exactly is cash flow? Well, simply, it's the total amount of money being transferred into and out of a business. And as it says here in the second bullet point, positive cash flow, healthy cash flow, net cash inflow means that your business has received more cash than it's spent. And this is usually a good thing, particularly if your business hasn't received any money from borrowing, as it means you're earning more than you're spending. Negative cash flow, or net cash outflow, means that your business has spent more cash than it's received. This isn't usually a good thing. And it means your business is spending more than it's earning. Now, it's not an understatement to say that cash flow management can make or break a small business. It's probably fair to say that not enough business owners truly understand the value of managing it correctly. And a common mistake is increasing outgoing, so spending more money because your P&L or your profit and loss report shows that the business is currently profitable. And usually that only tells part of the story. On the flip side, not knowing how much cash will be in the business in the future means that you might be more hesitant to spend money when actually your cash flow is healthy enough to do so. And so missing out on these opportunities because you aren't sure if you could spend money is equally as damaging as overspending, especially for small businesses. So understanding that cash position is the best way to make confident business decisions without having the what ifs hanging around in the back of your mind. So why is forecasting the cash flow or your cash flow so important? Well, quite simply, businesses can't survive, let alone grow, without that good and accurate cash flow forecast. And managing that cash flow allows you to tackle unexpected and even planned expenditure, making spending and business decisions more efficient. So we'll go through these bullet points here. The first is about better decision-making and future plans. And I've kind of alluded to that already. So with an accurate cash flow position or cash flow statement, as it's sometimes known, you'll know the exact amount of funds you have available at any given moment and in the future. And this is vital because your plans and your decisions are best supported by accurate information. If you don't manage your cash flow carefully, then you could be making bad decisions and ultimately put your business at risk. And that's really what it's about, that risk management too. There are likely to be times where it appears that your business is in a strong position, but a cash flow statement could show that there actually isn't much money coming into the business for that particular month. Now, this could be because you haven't issued invoices, or maybe in FreeAgent's case, you haven't added your invoices into FreeAgent. But whatever the reason is, with an updated cash flow statement or an accurate cash flow position, you will know not to make any significant purchases in that time. Bullet point 2 here is around knowledge of why and where money is spent. So managing your cash flow effectively does give you that better understanding of where you're spending your money, but also why you're spending it. And that's not always the most accurate thing to see from a profit and loss report, for example. That expenditure understanding isn't always black and white, which is why the cash flow management is really important, because it delves a layer deeper than that and allows you to identify areas of the business where you might be able to cut costs. Professionalism and loyalty in the market is really about supplier relationship. Now, it can be with your customers too, but if you don't have enough money to pay your suppliers and you enter into problems there, then that can have an impact on potentially a brand that you spent a long time building up, and that loyalty and reputation in the market. So cash flow management really allows the advanced planning, so you don't face a situation where you have multiple bills coming into your business, or even multiple invoices out that aren't paid at the same time and no funds to be able to deal with these. And fourthly, there is the timely taking of opportunities. So this is really around growing and expanding your business, which is exciting. I was self-employed before I joined FreeAgent, and it means new markets, new staff, more revenue, and all these exciting things about why you become an entrepreneur in the first place. But there is some caution here, because expanding at the wrong time or developing outwards in the wrong way, and you're likely to have issues in the long term. So it's really around the timely aspect of this. Growth does require cash. Now, this could be done in many ways. You could rent premises, hire employees, acquire equipment, and these can all take place before cash comes into the business. If you don't have those funds available to match that growth, then that's when the problems really arise. So managing your cash flow effectively will allow you to decide when the time is right to grow your business. And the last slide here really on the importance of cash flow is about how managing it can help your business or any small business. I kind of broke these down into some areas. First is growth, and I've talked about this quite a bit already, and it's a good example might be, how do your outgoing wages currently relate to your revenue, and how does that look in the future? Can you afford to take on new staff? Understanding those situations and scenarios is really about managing that cash flow. Preventing wasting money. So cash flow management does allow you to see the impact that every purchase you make has on your business position. And that can be down to the individual purpose. What categories or areas are impacting your future position more than others? Are those the areas you're spending too much on? When we go into a FreeAgent account, I'll show you how these individual elements, be it a single invoice or a manually added event, can really have the impact on your future cash flow position. It allows you to be confident in spending money. So creating a cash flow forecast or using a tool like FreeAgent will help you know whether you have the cash available to pay your bills, to be received from your invoices. And staying up to date with cash flow needs of your business is really the best way to know how much money your business has, or how much money your business will need for a given period. And that need is the future predicted elements. And we'll go into more on that shortly in an account. The fourth bullet point there is about credit control. And in a tool like FreeAgent, you can combine your future predictions, there are things that aren't yet realized, with manual events that you've added and everything else that's going on in your business to directly see what happens if the money you're expecting comes late or potentially doesn't arrive at all, which unfortunately happens to us all in business. And credit control is so crucial to small business success alongside cash flow, that cash flow certainly helps in that credit control management. Next is managing uneven incomings. So project-based work or any work that isn't always like clockwork can sometimes result in fluctuations in incomings and outgoings, inconsistent payments in, inconsistent payments out. And it makes it hard to really understand what your business position is as at today. However, cash flow management and accurate cash flow forecasts help you to understand that picture from a bird's eye view, taking action sooner, more effectively, and allowing you to even out those uneven periods. Investment in your business is really around, well, essentially with a regular and updated cash flow, you can clearly see how you can afford to put money back into your business. This could be buying something new. It could be investing in a product or a product line that your business has. Second to last is a big area for FreeAgent, and it's around tax budgeting, and allows you to calculate expected tax payments, allocate budgets for them. FreeAgent's got a lot of these functionalities. We've got our tax timeline on your overview page if you're familiar with that. But whilst that might show the amount that's due and the date that it's due, it's really the cash flow forecasting that allows you to manage your budgets correctly. Maybe you create separate nominal codes or bank accounts to handle money to help you budget, or pots if you use that kind of bank. And lastly is view and manage seasonality. So this is quite similar to the project level management here around every business doesn't always work in the same ways every single month, and cash flow forecasting gives you that view from afar of seasonality and helping to manage it. So now I'm going to dive into a live FreeAgent account here. Hopefully I'm still logged in. Yeah, I am. And we'll talk a little bit about how this works in the FreeAgent world. So just before we go straight into cash flow, I think it's worth highlighting that the best way to get your data into FreeAgent is to connect your bank account via a bank feed. Now, bank feeds automatically import all of your business transactions. They're super easy to set up and extremely secure too. On top of the bank feed, FreeAgent has cutting-edge automation, and this automatically categorizes a significant percentage of the transactions for you, leaving you with far more time to run your business. Our automation learns from you over time, so the more you interact with it, the more it becomes customized to your particular business. And you can set them up on desktop and web. To do this, you can go into the banking area under banking and bank accounts, select the account you wish to enable a bank feed on. I'll choose a credit card account. We also support credit card feeds. So clicking into the credit card account, you'll see an enable bank feed button at the top here and on the right-hand side. Now, FreeAgent supports a wealth of bank connections. These aren't the only ones here, although there is quite an extensive list. We also have an area so you can view them all in the search function, but we include established names like NatWest and RBS, as well as challenger banks, your Metal, Monzos, Revoluts, and your Starlings. So if I go back to the overview page here, I think it's probably best to start out by saying that FreeAgent actually has two types of cash flow calculation, and there's a subtle difference between them and a real importance between them, and I just want to clarify that. The first is the one that's glaringly obvious in front of you on the overview page, and this is on the desktop, and it's also on our mobile app. The second is under the dedicated cash flow area, and I'll get to that later. That's when we'll spend the majority of our time. But it's worth saying that this cash flow calculation is mirrored in our banking area too, and it shows the explained transactions coming in and out of all your bank accounts across the last 12 months. And there's a date picker here. You can choose a different time range. But for today's purposes, we're going to be talking at cash flow. So I'm just going to navigate into this cash flow area and into our dedicated cash flow tool, which you'll see here. So the dedicated cash flow tool also looks historically. However, it looks into the future in a 90-day window, as you can see at the top of our graph. So it calculates the money in and money out over that 90-day window, providing that measure of the business's health and a projected future balance. So how does FreeAgent do this? Well, it looks at all aspects of your business or your FreeAgent account to make those future predictions as well as historical calculations. So I'll run through a few of what is included here. So the total balance of your bank accounts. So this includes your credit card accounts, your non-native currencies, includes your personal accounts, are all grouped together in these figures. Now you can choose to exclude them. You can do that one by one, but they are all able to be included. It includes any future dated bank transactions, should you have these. It includes due, overdue, partially paid invoices, bills, credit notes, any recurring bills and recurring invoices set to be created in the future. It includes your PAYE, your national insurance payments, and that's taken from your payslip data if you run payroll in FreeAgent. Your VAT return, your corporation tax liabilities are included, predicted costs based on some artificial intelligence analysis of your monthly spending patterns, and I'll go into those categories specifically shortly. It includes any standing orders as if you're with our NatWest brand, and manually added events, which are things you can add manually into Cashflow if you want to play around with elements of scenario planning. So this graph here at the top is really the at-a-glimpse view. And you can see in this account, there's been quite steady growth over the last couple of months. And then I'm expecting a bigger growth in May before it flattens out in June and July. If you don't want a balanced view, you can move to more of an incoming and outgoing view. And you can see here that it creates that as such. So this is reflected by, let's take March, for example. Hovering over here, you can see I've got incoming and outgoing with a net cash flow of 1,800. And the reason that for these values are in bold is because they're realized. So they're paid invoices, paid bills, they're bank transactions explained in the banking area in a historic month. Hovering over on April, which is the month we're in now, you can see that there's some of this is kind of hashed, and some of this is fully a full color of green and red. And this basically reflects the amount that's already been realized, which is the thicker color, incoming and outgoing of 1,177 and 496. And then a future prediction of 4,600 in and 1,271 up. So it's looking like a good month here. And the same for May and June and July. On the right-hand side of the graph, you have today's balance, and then some incomings, outgoings, and predicted balance. So this is the total sum of all the bank accounts in FreeAgent, or all those that are included in Cashflow, if I haven't excluded any. You then have the incoming over the next 90 days, which is the forecast, and outgoing over the next 90 days, which again is the forecast, and you can be reflected by adding all these numbers together. And then the predicted balance, which is essentially today plus incoming minus outgoing equals your prediction. So this can be customized, as I've alluded to. So we have a settings area at the top. And in the first settings area, you have a table here of all the accounts included. You can see this. This is a test account, but you can see I've got primary, credit cards, Canadian dollar accounts, hidden accounts. So they are included. If you want to hide your bank accounts from drop-downs, they can be included here. And then an ability to turn them off on the right-hand side. Each of these has the last known balance and then a date, and the date is the last transaction in that bank account. Moving to the next tab, you've got manual events. So within Cashflow, every incoming and outgoing payment is defined as an event, and you can add them manually. So I've added a magazine subscription here. I've set it to recur weekly, so it'll be added to my Cashflow weekly with an amount of $49.99. And you can change the frequency and update that and do all the kind of editing things from here. I should say you can do this from the Cashflow page too, but this is the settings. I'm just demoing the functionality for this section at this stage. And then we have predicted events. So these can be hidden. Again, you see these the toggles on the right-hand side, and that will turn it on and off from the Cashflow page. But essentially, these are some of the most common categories for which predictions can be made. So accountancy fees, computer software, etc., and allows you to turn them on and off to manage your cash flow in a way that suits you best. So I'm going to go back to the kind of cash flow page here and talk a little bit about all the meat underneath the graph below it. So on the left-hand side, we have your shortfall prediction, and this is another at-a-glance figure. And this really reflects the number of days in which FreeAgent forecasts that the total of all your bank accounts will reach zero. So kind of your horizon of reaching zero. In this account, you can see clearly that this is above zero, so it's kind of in the green. Keep up the good work. But if it was to be net zero, it would be in black. If it was to drop below zero, we would show that in red, and the graph colors would reflect that too. But we don't just stop there and say you're going into the red. We do offer suggested actions. And these suggested actions include some suggested steps to help you manage that financial health, such as you can see here, paying bills, approving bank transactions, and explaining bank transactions. So paying bills is what it says on the tin. You can click through. These are all hyperlinks to those areas. So if I pay these open and overdue bills, there's going to put me in a more accurate cash flow position. If I approve the automated bank transactions, so these are the ones that FreeAgent has done for me, that will also make the cash flow position more accurate, and I can explain bank transactions. Quite a lot of unexplained transactions here. This account's quite heavy, maybe it's an e-commerce account, and so updating these will not only improve cash flow, but impact my tax position and all the other elements of FreeAgent. There are other actions that this offers, such as managing invoices here, but this is just the three that the FreeAgent has picked for this account's cash flow. And then we go on to the two areas at the bottom, incoming and outgoing. And these essentially are all the payments that FreeAgent expects this business to receive or pay over the next 90 days. If any invoice is overdue, you can see this here, FreeAgent expects that to be paid tomorrow. However, you can change that, and I'll go into some of the customization just now. So these lists aren't just things to look at and not do anything with. There is a lot you can do with each individual event to make cash flow work best for you. So if we take this bill over here, I can hide it from cash flow, and I'll do that by clicking hide from cash flow. And what that does is you'll see that there's a toast notification at the top confirming this, and you'll see that that's hidden from the cash flow. So this figure up here, this outgoing in the next 90 days, has been updated to reflect that I don't want to include this bill. I can show it again, and you'll see the 6283 will increase. There you go, 6468, and it's now included back. So you can customize it in that way. You're also able to change expected date of items. So if this bill isn't going to be paid, well, as already overdue, but if I wanted to change when I'm going to pay, and I now know I'm going to pay it tomorrow, I can update the date and change it to tomorrow, and that will reflect this in cash flow. And it will, as it says at the top, the date successfully updated. When I refresh the page, that will show as due tomorrow. Then we can look at other elements you can do. And there's a key, there's some icons next to each of these, and there's a key down the bottom that reflects what these are. So you can, there's manually added, recurring, hidden, changing the date, and prediction. So if we take up the magazine subscription, which I added manually, I'm able to edit it from this page, or even delete it entirely if I want to remove it from my cash flow. If I scroll down to something like a mobile phone payment, which is a predicted event, so it's not actually been realized, it is expected in 14 days, I am able to change that expected date as well here. If you have the Pay It function enabled, then which allows you to pay bills through FreeAgent, you're able to click on bills here and pay them through FreeAgent. However, moving over to the incoming side, let's look at one of these invoices. So this is an invoice that's due in 3 days, so I'm expecting that payment. Again, I can hide it, change the expected date, and the same with overdue. However, the extra added options on this overdue are, I can send a reminder. So this hasn't been paid. I don't need to go away to the invoicing, find the invoice, then chase up my client. I can do it straight from cash flow and do all the actions here with driving the kind of business decisions from this area. And lastly, I just want to show that you can export this. So we support CSVs, we support PDFs, whichever suits your needs better, and you can do that from the top right here. So hopefully that's given you a detailed insight, not only into FreeAgent's cash flow tool, how it functions, how it calculates predictions, how to customize it to work better, but also the importance of cash flow to your small business. At FreeAgent, we're continuously updating and improving our products, so stay tuned for more updates in this area. I think that's probably it for today. I think we've covered quite a lot, and I'm sorry for going too fast. Everyone will get a recording of this if you wish to look back at it. I hope this has helped everyone highlight the importance of cash flow. Like I say, I was a small business owner before joining FreeAgent. I've definitely felt these pains before. And FreeAgent's tool is certainly a really, really strong way of doing that. Please don't hesitate to get in touch with us if you do have any questions. At the bottom right of every account, there is a help button that opens our live chat function, and you can speak to our automation there or our support team there if you want to. And also at the bottom, there is a knowledge base section, and we have a fantastic website of guides to help you with all aspects of everything to do with FreeAgent. I'm sure you can find most of the answers there. It's really, really good. I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for taking the time to stick with me on this. Cheers, folks.